everybody, and thank you for joining me today. So we are on the home stretch, working on Deku Link in the bottom right-hand corner. Yeah, and we have just over 2,000 stitches to go. So I'm thinking I will probably be done next session. We'll see, but I will save the last stitches for y'all to see, because I know people like to see the final ones go in. So yeah. Okay. Oh, how did that happen? There's a knot in it right at the end. Weird. Okay. Well, that was strange. Okay, there we go. I'm only going to be using this for one more stitch anyway, so no big deal, but yeah, that was odd. Okay. So, yeah, I think we're down to about 50 colors left out of the 125. I zeroed out like, 8 of them yesterday, so yeah, that's been fun. So we'll see if we hit any this session. It's kind of funny because I finished filming last session, I hadn't hit any zeros, and then sort of the rest of that day it was seemed to be nothing but 0, 0, 0. So yeah, because Pattern Keeper now has the feature to hide the zeros in your list, it means my list of numbers is getting shorter and shorter. Okay. So yeah, we got quite a bit done because there was bigger blocks of color. I've got pretty much all of his hair done, or most of it. His hat's finished. I was working on his body now, and his I've got part of his arm here, I think. There's his fingers, and then working on his gauntlet sort of up here. There. Fiber stuck in there. That wasn't supposed to be there. Okay, let's take a look. All right, we're gonna have separate threads for those because they're kind of spread apart. So yeah, it's warming up out there. Now we're getting to the time of the year where it's like, how long can I put off turning on the air conditioning? Pardon me. Usually try to make it till, July. Yeah, our house is pretty good now. We when we moved in, there was very little insulation in the attic, so in the summers the sun would beat down on it and just heat the house up like an oven. But yeah, we finally had enough insulation put in there, so now it's much better. And a lot of times I won't know how hot it is outside till I go to take my walk or take the garbage out, and it's like, oh, way warmer than I thought. Yeah, plus we got the energy efficient windows put in, so okay. Let's see. Yeah, all of these are a bit further than I like to carry, so I think I'm gonna just tie this one off and restart later. So we're at 95, almost 96%. Well, we should hit that in this session, I should think. Okay. Yeah, I got a bunch of confetti here, as you can see, but there's some bigger blocks coming up, so we should have kind of a mix in this session, I should think. Excuse me. Okay. Okay. Let me just sort of head back up to the top of this section here. Start working my way back down. Short piece just keeps sort of there. Just wrap it with the other threads so they stay out of my way. I've actually seen where some people braid their parked threads, but yeah, that's an extra step I don't feel like doing, so. Although a lot of them, people say they are able to just slide out the thread they want to use even from a braid, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, like I said, that's just sort of an extra step that I don't feel like adding. Okay. Alrighty. Oh, goodness. Just grabbing one color and another color from another section on my tray tried to come with it, so be careful not to mix them up. Yeah, especially when you're using a lot of similar shades of the same color in one piece. Yeah, I think we're going to get into Deku Link's eyes. He has very big eyes in proportion to his body. It's probably what made him look pretty cute. At least I thought so. I liked his little shield that looked like a half of a shell, like a coconut shell or something. Yeah, pretty cute. Yeah, I like how they had the different qualities. Like Deku Link was light, and he could sort of hop over, you know, water and stuff. But then he was very vulnerable to fire because he's basically made of wood. So yeah, and like Goron Link, he's basically made of stone. So he can do. You could make him do the Goron Pound where he'd curl into a ball and jump up and down. You could break through things that way. Or I remember there was one part where there was some golden spiders were up on the ceiling, and if you pounded on the floor, then they came down and you could get them. But But then he was very vulnerable to water, and so yeah, it was kind of interesting how they all had different strengths and weaknesses due to the properties of, yeah, the different forms. So again, ended up a bit less diagonal, almost straight here, but that's all right. I mean, in the end, the edges will be straight because it's a full coverage piece, so yeah. Okay. Ooh. Ooh, pardon me. Yeah, my husband is getting eager to see this done too, since he likes video games. So, yeah, I'll probably hang this up in our rec room when it's completely finished. That and the stained glass Zelda Ocarina of Time I'm also working on, although that one's going to be a while before it's done because, yeah, I'm just working on the black background, which there's a ton of, and I've got other projects planned in between. Okay, we'll see whether I have to go back to the top again, or if I can keep filling this in. It just sort of depends how the colors go and whether I want to do anything out of order or not, or possibly split up one of the colors into two sections to be able to keep from closing stuff in and carry on in the direction I'm stitching now. So we'll see what I decide to do. Okay. Okay, I'm thinking that the next color I do, I'm going to split it just from looking at it now, but I'll decide once I have it highlighted because sometimes that changes my mind when I can actually be sure I see all the stitches. Yeah, that is the best feature of using an app, that it just highlights everything for you. This is short, but I think we can get those last 3 stitches out of it. Okay, let's see. Just gonna pull this one out of this group here, see how long it is. Okay. Yeah, I think I am going to split this color up. So it kind of goes in more than one direction, so yeah. So I'm going to cut it off here. And the other thread part will do those other stitches that are to the right of this. Yeah, just because I want to kind of be able to fill this in before I head up to the top, because I've got quite a few of them already threaded. And if I go back to the top, I'm going to have to unthread them all. So that is why I'm choosing to do that. Oh, I did something wrong here. Oh, what have I done here? 1, 2, that's correct. Oh, I think I filled in. Oh yeah, look at what I did. I did that there, didn't I? Yep. Silly me. Oh, thank goodness for grid lines. See, I didn't cross-check with my grid line, and that's why I got that wrong. Okay, hang on a minute then. Let's go back to this color. Unpark that from there. Yeah, I was meant to do it here, and I did it down here. Yeah. Now, that's one nice thing I find with this method, because I'm not closing anything in. If I put something wrong, I usually find it like right away. Yeah, very, very quickly afterwards. So, okay, now where did I put that thread I was going to work with? I don't think I attached it yet. Oh, I tell ya. Yeah, I'm not really sure where I put it. I probably set it aside while I was trying to figure out what I did. Now I'm not sure where I put it. Oh, silly me. Oh, this is a very professional operation, right? Okay, well, I'll just do this again. Get another one. I'm sure it'll turn up later. Oh my gosh. Oh dear. Okay, then in that case, I'm going to use a different small piece, and I won't park it. It will be just enough for one. Oh, here it is. Okay. Yes, I put it aside here. Okay, good. I found it. Oh my gosh. Not the most auspicious of beginnings, hey? Oh my goodness. I bet some of you saw that. Were telling me, hey, you're making a mistake. But of course I couldn't hear you. Okay. Yeah, see, I didn't cross-check with my grid line. That's why I messed up. But the grid line then did help me to discover exactly where I went wrong. So, yes, that is why I grid. I find it is, okay, so that's done now, so I won't bother to erase it. Yeah, like I say, it takes some time in the beginning if you're not using pre-gridded fabric, because I have a whole bolt of this which does not have grids automatically on it, but yeah, in the end it saves me a lot of frustration because I make fewer mistakes, and when I do make mistakes, I can figure out where I went wrong more easily. Okay, I think that's pretty much what I'm going to get out of this thread, so. Okay. Okay, now we will try to carry on correctly. So yeah, kind of cutting it off at this artificial line here. So for all the stuff that's curving away, I'll get to it when I start coming down from the top again. You could, of course, choose to just follow the line of the color and start slanting your work the other way. It's totally up to you. Oh. Yeah, that's what happens when you pull it a little too hard. You're doing this away thread method. So yeah, I had someone ask, how do you know it's caught? If that happens, it's not caught. If you get it right, even that first stitch will hold it once you sort of pull it a little bit just to, and then yeah, by 2 stitches, it's basically, once it's got 2 wraps around it, yeah, you could pull as hard as you want and it's not really going to pull free. All you would end up doing is distorting your fabric. So do not do that, obviously. But yeah, once you've got a couple wraps around there, it is secure. It is not going to go anywhere. And then of course, as you're crossing back, that adds another set of wraps around it. So yeah, then it's totally tacked down. Well, on the next session we'll definitely be hitting zeros because that should be the one where I'm completely finishing this up. So this project will have had the very first stitches on camera and the very last stitches on camera. So that's fun. Yeah, it doesn't happen with every project because like my next project, I already started it and did the quarter because it was basically all white. And that would be pretty boring to watch, I think. Yeah, I just wanted something that I could just sort of slowly fill in without having to pay too much attention to counting carefully. Always kind of like to have one of those started and on the go. Oh, this ended up being a little longer than I thought. I'm just going to check the other thread part down here. Yeah, that's long enough for that stuff down there. Okay, then I think we're probably going to end up with 2 threads of this color in this run here. That's fine. I may end off one or not. When I get there, I'll decide then. Or sometimes I just sort of stitch with both. Okay, 327, right. I decided to do another piece here. Yeah, 20 stitches of this left. So, but they're kind of scattered throughout this area, so there won't be a zero in that today. Well, I had a lot of needles here, but a few threads ended off, so I got some back. Now we get a larger block here. 3, 3, 7, 1. Bunch of one color, that then we get into this rat's nest of these parked threads. I do like watching sort of the chaos of all these hanging threads become neat stitches. It's kind of satisfying for some reason. Okay, and then we will be back to confetti for a bit. Okay, 30, 31. Okay, let's see. We have to come down here for a bit. Yeah, okay. Keep closing stuff in. That's okay. So yeah, some threads travel downwards and some travel upwards and some travel sideways. It's a chaos, but a chaos that I understand. Okay. 6, 2. Getting near to the end of that color too, although again, yeah, I can see won't be getting to the last few stitches until another couple of diagonals away, so it'll be a while. So no 0 there either. Didn't think that one was threaded yet. Okay, good. Oops. Okay, then I'm going to unthread this for now. I think it's going to be a while till I get to it. And I have so many threaded that, adding another needle on there probably just result in a tangle. So yeah, we have now less than 2,000 stitches left as we has passed the 46,000 mark. I think I parked something wrong here. Or maybe I grabbed the wrong thread. Let's take a look. Yeah, I did too. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I grabbed the wrong thread. Okay. Yeah, I accidentally grabbed the triangle instead of this N. Oh, good thing I figured it out before I got too far stitching with it. My gosh. You know, I didn't think I was that tired, but I guess the brain is not quite awake yet. Oh, saw my first motorbike of summer. Oh man, my son was in elementary school. I made the mistake of parking right where the school zone ends. And anyway, I was waiting for him to get out of class. This was when he was in elementary school. And I had my window open because it was a nice day. And I was reading, so I was kind of absorbed in what I was reading while I was waiting. And anyway, so guy on his motorbike, is going through and, not very loud. And then, of course, right when he gets to the end of the school zone, he just revs it. And it's right next to my window when he revs it. And, of course, I was absorbed in my book. So, oh, my gosh, I almost had a heart attack. Because I didn't really hear him coming because I wasn't paying attention. And then all of a sudden, yeah, it's like super loud right next to my window. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh, lucky I didn't accidentally throw my phone. Because I was reading on my Kindle app on my phone, and yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you will never get me on one of those, that's for sure. Oh, way too anxious for me to ride on one. I'll ride a regular bike, but not a motorbike. Okay, so yeah, I don't think I'll fill all of this in straight down because it kind of, the way it's sloping, I think I'm gonna fill in a bit more here and then I'm gonna head up to the top again like I said I was gonna. Okay, so let's make sure again that I grab the correct thread this time. Yes, there we are. Good, another one I can tie off and be done with for now. Yeah, sometimes I end up with just as many threads just parked one diagonal over once I finished stitching with them, but sometimes we have to end off a few. Tidy things up a bit. Okay. That's what I've decided to do. Just sort of stitch with what's threaded here and I'm able to stitch with without closing anything in, and then I'm gonna head up to the top again. Good. Another one that can be ended. Okay, now I can do this one that I mistakenly picked up earlier. It's not threaded, but oh well, I'll just do it now. I bet this will take me to 95.95. Yep, there we go. Let's see if this is threaded or not. Yes, it is. Okay. If it wasn't, I wouldn't have bothered, but since it is, I might as well do one more stitch before I unthread it again. check this one. That's not okay. This one isn't okay. So yeah, I've only got 2 still threaded here, so I'm just gonna, oh, 3 actually, I lied. Okay, so I'm just gonna unthread these. Put all these aside for now. And we're gonna head way back up to the top like I was promising. Okay, I think actually I'm gonna get another set of magnets here. Oh, that one is kind of okay, so let's get going here. Yeah, there's some more of his hair here, and it kind of is sloping opposite of my diagonal, so yeah. Results in a bit more color changes for a bit. That's okay. Oh yeah, we're in a confetti slog here, I can tell. Well, unavoidable if you want to have good detail. There's going to be some. In any full coverage piece, but that's okay. Ooh, pardon me. Okay, actually, I'm going to split these up a bit more. Yeah. Just sort of makes sense to do that to me right now. Oops, oh, sorry, guys. Bonking my camera there. Like I said, this is a very professional operation. Oh, dear. Okay, so... Ooh. Oh, good. Well, I guess we will probably be reaching a 0 here because there were only couple more of that stitch left, so good. 30, 41. All right. Oh. There we go. Some of those threads are very long and kind of wanting to get tangled with my working one. Yeah, again, Link's hair here has a bit more green in it than I would think, but I guess this is the shadowy side because a fairy is over to the left, so yeah. Yeah, there were often colors I didn't expect, but they did work, so I leave the design to people who know better than me what they're doing. Okay, we should hit it 0 on this color too. Woohoo! Excellent, those are so much fun. Got 2 left, woohoo! But they're slanting the other way, so it'll take a bit. Go the other way because it doesn't want to come up nicely. And that one is full of other threads. There we are. Okay, but here's a 0 here. Woohoo! I can just pull that thread out. Okay, find that envelope. And 0, woohoo! So set that envelope aside to put it away later. Back into my master set. Yeah, I say my master set, but I don't have every single color. Well, I only like to buy the colors I need, so yeah. But I just keep 1 envelope per color I don't have several for across different projects or anything like that. Okay, 3781. You're gonna have a few threads of this color. I can see it is scattered again. Yes, there's a lot of confetti here. I think we did most of the big blocks when we were working on his hat. Yeah. Now we're back to detail work. Okay. Okay, another 0. Woohoo! So we didn't get any last session, but we're gonna get a few this session. Okay, ta-da! Oh, and another. Woohoo! Oh yeah, actually I should have taken that envelope out. That's 38.63. Right, because I didn't have to put the thread back, so I didn't remember to do that. Yeah, it was too short to bother saving. Okay, so 30, 53 is done. Excellent. Oh, good. And another 0. Yay. Yeah. Oh, and we're at 95.99. Will this take us to 96%? We will see. Nope, not quite. 30, 32. Okay, so that's 4 in this session. Okay, 37.90. Oh, my grid line got moved, I think. Yeah. That's one problem with the stitched on ones. Yeah, there we go. Got pulled out of place, so it looked like I was wrong, but I wasn't. My grid line was wrong, not my work. Yeah, I have to watch for that when I get closer to the edges, because I like to leave a little slack in them so they don't distort the fabric. But then, yeah, problem is sometimes they don't stay exactly where they should be, so gotta watch for that. Okay. Careful it doesn't mess you up. Get it all mixed up. Okay, still 95.99. Will this one get us to 96? If not, then the next one should. No, oh man. It's just gonna make us wait in anticipation. Okay, this should definitely do it because there's 5 stitches here, so probably only need one to make it roll over to 96% complete. Darn knots, I tell ya. Just a teeny one, so there. Okay, that should do it for sure. Oh yeah, there we go. 96. 4% left. And yeah, less than 2,000 stitches. There we go. It's just looking a little bit loose, that one above. Just kind of snugged it up there. Okay, there we are. Pardon me. So another one that I can tie off. Okay, nothing nearby. Oh, plus it's short, so there's really no point in worrying about parking this anywhere. Yeah. Oh, actually, there's enough there to do a couple single stitches, so we'll save the leftover pieces. Okay, so that one was not threaded, so I won't bother. I'll just move over towards the right now. Pardon me. Okay. I decided 2 threads for this one. So oh, that is a short piece. Oh yeah, okay. This is another one I had on a bobbin for a long time, so it's got kinks in it. Oops. Well, I stitched for a while in high school, and then I kind of stopped for a bit. Then I got back to it in my 30s, so that was when I fell down the full coverage rabbit hole. Yeah, before that I'd only done work from kits and nothing that was a full coverage. And then I was thinking, I like lighthouses. I'd like a picture of one. And then I thought, you know what? I cross stitch. I bet I could make one. So I typed in lighthouse cross stitch, and yeah, that's how that began. Okay, 3787. And then the problem now is there's so many patterns and not enough time. Yeah, so many gorgeous ones that I want to do. Trying to narrow down to the ones I'm actually going to do, because I do like to finish stuff. For some people, that's not as important to them, but yeah. I like starting stuff, but I do like to actually have finished objects to actually hang on my wall. So when I start something, I intend to finish it. Of course, like any crafter, there's always a few unfinished ones in your closet, but yeah, because I have I started making a stocking. I think I was in high school, but I was using a leftover piece of cloth, and honestly, it was too small. Like, I was stitching sort of right up to the edge, and there's not enough seam allowance left, which when I first started doing it, I didn't realize would have been a problem. So yeah, it's kind of just sitting there half done. It'll never be finished because, yeah, kind of can't. So I got my very first sampler that I stitched, and I think I may have done the stitching, but I never got around to it. And again, I did it on a piece of cloth that was too small. There's only like 6 stitches on either side of cloth, which, of course, at the time I did not realize makes it very difficult to finish. Like, it's like a centimeter or 2 from the edge. So yeah, so I still have it, because I mean, actually, that wasn't my very first one. My very first one was a sampler that a little kit that I did, and I don't know what happened to it. I think I may have given it to my mom or something, and it said Home Sweet Home. Yeah, so I don't have it anymore. But yeah, that was, I was shopping at a craft store, and they had that. It was one of those free flyers or whatever they were handing out with the pattern on it. So yeah, that got me sucked in for that for a while. Yeah, I have a couple. There was one that was going to make a pillow out of it, and then I left it in the closet, and I don't know, something spilled or dripped on it, and it's got, yeah, discolored yellow stains that I don't think will wash out. So that's sitting there. So yeah, like everyone, there's always unfinished objects. But yeah, with the full coverage pieces, I have tried to finish them. There was one I started, it was a Serenity Prayer, and then I left it for like 10 years, and then I got back into cross stitch, and it wasn't really my style anymore. But so I finished it, and I gave it to my mother-in-law for a Christmas gift, and she was very happy. So that's good, because she said, you know, I kind of wanted to ask for one, but like I know how much work it is, you know, because she does crafts too. She doesn't do cross stitch, but she does crochet and sewing and stuff. So she knows how much work goes into a handcrafted gift. So yeah, she didn't, you know, want to presume and ask. Because yeah, people who don't know how much work goes into it, they think, you know, you can just, you know, churn something out in a week or two. And yeah, that is not how that works. So like somebody said, especially with knitting, you know, people see stuff, you know, at Target or Walmart for 20 bucks because it was made by a machine. And so they think, oh, well, why can't you make me one of those hats for 20 bucks? But it's like, yeah, the material alone for me is, you know, more than $20, let alone the work involved. Right, that was just enough. I knew I was going to be cutting it close with that piece of thread. But yeah, so people worry about leaving their work in a hoop or on a Q-snap, and I tell them, well, that project that I ended up finishing and giving to my mother-in-law, it sat in a hoop for 10 years and it was still okay. So, I mean, certainly if you prefer, you know, go ahead and loosen the tension if you worried about it. But yeah, I didn't have a problem. And that was one of my friends. She had one that her mom had started, and I think she said that one sat in a hoop for like 20 years before she finished it. So yeah, and then her mom kind of said, well, my eyesight isn't good enough to really do this anymore. Do you want it? So yeah, she finished it for her. Yeah, I did that with somebody's knitting project. The person who had started it had passed away, so they asked if I could finish it, and they offered to pay me, but I said no, that was fine, you know. I did it as a gift. I felt honored that they trusted me with somebody's work to finish it off for them. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I had to be careful too because it's like a baby blanket, and the yarn they had for it was discontinued. So yeah, I had to do a lot of careful measuring and weighing with my kitchen scale to see exactly how many grams I had and exactly how many grams it took to make a little square. And yeah, but yeah, I had enough. There was about a quarter of a ball of yarn left when I was done. So yeah, I guesstimated very, very well. But yeah, that was a bit anxiety inducing as I was stitching it. Like, oh, please, please, let this last long enough that I don't have to try and fudge it with another color. Because it was a multicolored yarn. Yeah, and it was like from Sears, like, oh, decades back. So yeah. Yeah, or I fixed somebody else's blanket. Their great grandmother had knitted it, and then one of the seams had sort of come apart. And so they asked me if I could save it. And yeah, I was actually able to find a very close enough yarn and graft that seam back together because it kind of run and there were live stitches sort of exposed. And then yeah, I used the Kitchener stitch, which is a way to seamlessly join pieces of, so it's like somebody said knitting with a tapestry needle. Yeah, you're recreating the knit stitches with a yarn needle and then to graft it back together seamlessly. But yeah, I was able to do that. So I was really glad I was able to save it because, yeah, their great-grandmother had passed on by then, so she couldn't fix it. So yeah, when they told me what the problem was, I said, okay, you know, put it in a box or a bag or something and don't touch it so it doesn't unravel any further, and I'll see what I can do. But yeah, it was kind of a multicolored yarn, but where the seam had popped open was like a light green color, and I had some light green yarn that was almost exactly the same. So yeah, unless you know exactly where the repair is, it's pretty invisible. So yeah, I was glad I was able to save that for them because, yeah, you know, sentimental value, you can't, that's not something that can be replaced. Not when it was a gift made with love. Okay. I think it's time to end off this thread and start a new one. Those two as well. Do this color first. Okay, did that so that I can curve this around here like that and not close anything into the left of it. I think this is the wrong one. Yeah, I think I put this back wrong. It should be here. Okay. Yeah, that's better. Put some colors back on the wrong thread card, or some threads. Whoops. Okay. That's what happens when I'm switching back and forth a lot between the two colors and they're very similar. Yeah. I realized when I picked it up it didn't look quite right. Although if they're that close, probably wouldn't really be that noticeable if I had stitched with the wrong one here, since it's kind of a colorful spot. If it's in sort of a big block, then it would be very noticeable, like I did a few sessions ago where I accidentally stitched a bunch of navy blue in the middle of black. It's like a stripe. So it's like, ah, rats. Nothing to do but to pull all those stitches out, because that would have definitely annoyed me forever. It was way too noticeable. so here's his hair and then the darker color of his actual face there, since he's made of wood. $101. Pretty soon it will be 100 even left behind for this color. Okay. Stitch to 200 even, shall we? Yeah, seems like a good place. Darn it, let's try that again. One frustrating bit of using smaller pieces, that tends to happen more often. Accidentally unthread my needle. I'm trying to just maneuver it around. Okay, so that's 198. So we'll do 2 more and park, and we will be at 200. Okay. And I think the other half might be home for lunch. I think that sounds like his car. All right. I'll take a break and have lunch with him anyway. So yeah, next session I expect will be finishing this up, putting the final stitches in. And then the session after that, we will be working on the next piece, the Marvelous Garden by Heaven and Earth Designs, the peacocks. So yeah, that will be exciting. That is always fun. Okay, so mark that as done, and there we go, 200 even. So as usual, thank you so much for joining me today, and hope to see you here again another time. Thanks everyone. Bye.